Okay, well, maybe for the young people who visit our site, wimps.org.uk, perhaps you could talk us through the some of the high-level legislation stuff that was passed through. You mentioned in the vote today. It would be a nice news item for us.
There were 6 different parts to the legislative package that went through today. What they were putting into law were the targets that were laid out in a high-level promise made by the EU so far, known as 20-20-20.
Yes.
That is that by 2020, the EU will have 20% of its energy will be renewable energy.
Okay, yeah.
There will be 20% energy efficiency,
Yeah.
over and above the way that we use energy today. And there will be a 20% reduction in the emissions of greenhouse gases.
Okay.
And 20% reduction could stretch to a 30% reduction target in if there's an overall agreement next year in Copenhagen.
Yeah.
So that was one big set of the legislation. We had then, putting that into practice, we had one piece of legislation on cars and improving cars, both the make of cars and other targets for the automotive industry, so that that transport sector could reduce its emissions. There was another on what's known as the emissions trading system. It's a way of saying that people can get allowances. If they do really well in terms of low carbon industry, they get allowances they can sell, and those who haven't managed to lower their emissions yet have to buy them.
Okay.
It's almost buying an allowance to pollute for a while. In the early run of this emissions trading system, a lot of industries got allowances for free, then sold them, made vast profits. And there were a lot of other problems with it. So this was, today's package was a review of that system, tightening the rules, improving the system, making sure people actually have to really make efforts to make industry work better. And it was in fact an Irish MEP, Avril Doyle, who was the person leading that negotiation for the European Parliament with the heads of the member states. Another piece of the package was for those parts of the economy that don't fit into that system, there were set targets given to each country as to what reductions they have to make. So how will they reduce greenhouse gas emissions in agriculture, for example, in buildings, in other sectors of transport. So you'll see from the different parts of the legislation that countries now, once this legislation has passed, need to look at how they're going to change the way, how are we going to change the way we work, we build our buildings to make them better, to ensure that they use less energy, that they use renewable energy, that the type of building and the type of way all of this is done doesn't do further damage to the climate. The same in terms of our cars and how we run our transport system. The same will be true for each area of the economy. We'll have to look and say, either what can we do to stop doing the damage that we're doing at present, or what can we do that could help? So agriculture, for example, on the one hand, will have to look at the impact that agriculture has. But on the other hand, it could also say, well, through some form in the north of Ireland, for example, there's biomass willow that's grown, and Cookstown Council, instead of using oil or coal-fired for heating its leisure centre, does it through this renewable energy, this biomass. So there's steps that people can take. There's another very good project in Armagh for example, called STEM, and they train graduates who then go out to small companies and show the companies how they can be more energy efficient, how they can use less waste or reduce the waste that they produce, how that they can meet environmental standards. So all of these are going to have to be built on in the future, and the executive is going to have to think of how will it advise each part, each department on the steps that they can take. And as well as that, how will they advise us at home? For example, a TV on standby uses 45% of the energy of a TV that's actually switched on. So if you're switching off your TV before you go to bed at night, but you only leave it on standby, you don't switch it off completely, you're still using nearly half the same amount of energy. So there's things like that that we'll all have to learn in the future.
And
thank you very much. I've been Martina Caterina.
And I've been Ben Preston. Thanks for watching WIMPS.org.uk.